If I was your best friend, I'd want you around me all the time. Can I be your best friend if you promise that you'll be mine?
I was thinking, what's funny, like about the little cheesecake factory thing. When a girl was like, "Don't take me to Cheesecake Factory on the first date." You ain't never seen that post?
I didn't see the post, but I heard about it.
Basically, this girl went on a date with a guy, and he took them to the Cheesecake Factory.
Mm-hmm.
And she wouldn't get out the car because she felt like she was better than the Cheesecake Factory for a first date. And then it was like this whole debate. It was like, what isn't appropriate for the first date? And I was thinking, I was like, even though we didn't date, the first place we ever ate as friends, just the two of us, was Waffle House.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's not good for you, but we still love it. That waffle got you in a chokehold. Ugh. I can have it now. I mean, I can't have it now. But
Definitely can't have it now.
Definitely can't have it now.
Certainly can't have it
No,
now.
but I could. But oof, yes.
I know.
And it's so funny. Like, I was anti Waffle House like my entire life. Obviously, in New York, there is no Waffle House. So when I got down to the South and I seen it, I was like, that looks absolutely disgusting. Like, I'm not eating there. And until one night when I was in college, we was coming from partying, and they was like, we're gonna stop at Waffle House, and you hungry, so you just don't care. And what that lady say about pizza? Transformative.
Yes.
Transformative. But no, I think Cheesecake Factory is like I would eat Cheesecake Factory. I mean, there's a coffee date, ice cream date, frozen yogurt date. Like,
I mean, we were just friends, but we ate Waffle House though.
But we were just friends. Again, there's no expectation.
You know what? That is good, because that's exactly right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter where you go to eat as friends, as long as you like the food. Wherever you're going when as friends. But in dating, you got to impress each other. And you know what the crazy thing is? In dating, it's more performative.
That's all it is.
It's performative.
You don't
It's
get
like
to
a
be
performance.
You.
Yep.
It's like I have to put on my best.
I gotta impress you.
Literally. So and that's so funny, because you know how many times like men will reference, and we laugh now, obviously, all these videos like of the wife getting ready to go out, and then when she comes home, so it's like, we'll be suited and booted when we go outside, but the moment we come inside, it's pajamas, hair wrap, slippers, robe. Yeah, and it's no different than like when you're dating, a female will be like suited and booted, and then the next time they see him, they just like who is this? What happened? The wig gone, the lashes off, the makeup off.
No, I remember the first time ever I seen a girl take off, outside of my sister, right? My oldest sister, but seeing a girl take off her wig in front of me, I said, yo. And she had the straight cornrows, and I was a kid, and I was like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that in front of me? Nah, because y'all be thinking it's a game.
I think it's funny. I mean, because y'all just be stuck. Like what just happened? Like what's happening here? Like, how did you go from that to this? Can you bring that back? Like, what's happening here? But you don't get to be that in dating. And as friends, it's like,
well,
what's up?
There are people, people get comfortable with each other quick, so they do get there quick, but to show all those sides. But I mean, I don't know. I think it takes a lot of the pressure off of life and off of yourself. My homie actually said the other day, he was like, bro, every time I'm focusing on somebody else, I get stressed in my life. But life is so much more simple when I'm just focusing on myself, on my self-growth and all of that. So, yeah.
Because the beautiful thing is, like, per our last episode, you can meet them in the air.
Not you can. You will.
You will. Yeah.
What's up, beautiful people?
Yeah. What's up, beautiful people?
Welcome to another episode of
Friends of Fiance.
I'm Jordan Tarzan.
And I'm Jasmine Jane.
And we're happy that you're here.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So we hope that you guys just start kind of like tapping in with us, leaving more comments. We've seen different comments that we've had a chance to read, and it's been so dope to see some of your feedback and some of the impact that it's had on y'all. So please holla at your boy and your girl. Let us know what you think, what you feel. It is our 1 month anniversary.
Podcast anniversary, if that's a word. Podiversary. There we go.
Podiversary.
1 month podiversary.
1 month podiversary.
Yes. That's so dope.
Yeah.
And it went by so fast. And I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface.
Yeah. Just like.
It's so dope.
Yeah. I'm definitely thankful. It's really cool because we're doing it together though. That's the thing that make it the dopest.
It is.
It honestly,
is.
like, I've done a lot of different productions and all kind of stuff, but doing it with you, it really changes. It changes the feeling of it for me.
It's life, and it's I truly feel like it's, maybe I'm a little too close now. No, okay. I truly feel like it's brought us closer together as well. Like it's really cool, guys. It's really, really cool. I'm just grateful. Yeah. Super grateful. I know. So the book club right now, I know we've talked about it, like The Pink Garden. The book we're reading right now is Balance, called Teray Roberts, right? And one of the questions that I asked yesterday to all of the women on the call was, where and how do you prioritize, like, filling your cup, right? Because we're constantly expending, we're constantly giving to other people. And so, of course, I'm always the last to answer, you know, and the girls were like, okay, so what about you? And it was really hard for me to identify a specific action or routine or practice because, like, I feel like life is so peaceful, right? And we're in such harmony right now that if outside of this, there are other things that I'm studying, other things that, you know, I'm embarking on. But if I need to, in some way, kind of like rebalance or recalibrate, I just take that moment.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's go for a walk, whether it's go to the gym, whether it's, you know, sit in like complete silence for a second, you know, or pick up a book, like whatever it is that I need to do, I can find space in my day to do that. And it's such a beautiful feeling.
Yeah. Shoot, it's a beautiful feeling to hear you say that. Yeah. You know, because y'all, listen, this is a little worker bee right here. So
I am a workaholic for sure. It had its challenges, and y'all will hear all about that. But I mean, I'm just super grateful to be here and to actually be content. Like, contentment was my struggle. Not so much is. I'm a lot better.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I agree. You know, I'm the first cheerleader with that.
Yeah.
Because, Lord, it has been a journey.
Yeah.
Father, stretch my hand. Bring me a forehead.
No.
Yeah, come on. Let me brush.
No, but seriously, it's been great. It's been great. Yeah.
No, it's been super dope. So today we actually, episode 5, we want to talk about the actual path to proposal.
Yeah.
The path to proposal. So, I mean, I'm not going to even act like it was like this super elaborate thing, but one thing I will say, it was a super intentional thing. A very, 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 very super intentional thing. I still remember the moment when I started telling my family members that, like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to propose to Jazz. And everyone else was like, yo, for real, excited. Everyone, the person I thought would be the most excited, or one of the most excited people, was my grandma. And I call her Nanny. And when I went to go let Nanny know that I was going to propose to you, her only response was, I already knew. That was her only response. So if y'all don't know, which many of you don't, my grandmother is a pastor. And so she pastored for many years. And so, you know, she was the woman that I got my spiritual foundation from, the woman who I experienced the love of God from. And I was so blessed to have her, because a lot of times we'll experience like different cultures of church, and, you know, different scriptures, but not often do we experience the actual love of Christ, the love of God. And that's what she carried. And it was just so special. That love of God is so special. And I know that we try to understand God a lot of times with our head, but my homie actually told me something the other day, and it really touched me. He was just like, bro, you know what was really the turning point in my faith? And I was like, what was that? And we've been homies for like almost 10 years now. Well, 10 years now, actually. And he said, man, when I brought one of my secrets to you, and it was like you didn't even flinch, I was just met with just pure love and sound wisdom. And he was like, that was the point where I realized, like, oh, this thing is real, not just because you didn't judge me, but because what I received in return. It wasn't just support. It was something way deeper, and I felt it.
Yeah.
And that's what made me, that's what started me, jump started my faith as a young adult.
That's so good.
Or cemented my faith as a young adult.
Yeah.
So I was, that touched me. Literally just said that to me for the first time yesterday, and we had a conversation. I was like, whoa,
wow,
like, that's pretty dope, man. That's pretty dope.
Being loved without judgment is huge. And I mean, the most, as just listening to your conversation, the only way that it's been magnified that I've experienced is this.
Yeah.
Like, because we haven't always been the same version of ourselves, and we won't always be the same version of ourselves. But in every season, I still have to choose love.
Yeah.
Even if I don't like what you're doing, even if I don't like who you are, if I don't like what you've become, I still have to choose love.
Yeah.
And to be able to serve as an extension of that to just friends, like, obviously friends with standards, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But friends it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And I think both of us, we definitely emulate that. Like, there's no judgment here, because it's like, I don't have no heaven or hell to put you in. But more than that, judging, it's kind of like how you say, like, an attitude does not help anybody. Like, there's nowhere to go from that. So when you're casting judgment on people, there's nothing to do with that. There's nowhere to go from that.
Yeah, except for somewhere negative.
Yeah.
And there's a difference. Like, there's a difference of loving someone without judgment,
Mm-hmm.
and just not judging someone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because love includes correction, and not correction in the sense of you need to do this
Correction
or you
from
need to
the
do
standard.
that, but correction back to the standard.
That's good.
And what the standard obviously comes from is God's character. And if you don't have that standard, then it's hard to love, right? Because without a standard of love, then it's hard to love, right? It's without a standard of excellence, it's hard to be excellent, right? So these things have to be defined for them to be accomplished, right? It's hard to accomplish something that can't be defined or that hasn't been defined. So I say that because for those out there who just automatically feel like, oh, well, I just don't judge this person. They can just live life however XYZ, but you see them going down a path that's destructive for them. That's not love, because scripture also says, there's this scripture that says, spare the rod, spoil the child, right? So what that means is that if you spare correction, your friends, family members, loved ones, correction, and not in the sense that you have a heaven or hell to put them in, but in the sense of giving sound wisdom, whether they take it or not, it doesn't matter. You just make sure that it's presented for them to choose from if they decide to choose from it. But by sparing it, you spoil them, and spoil them, not in a good way, but like spoil fruit, like in a bad way. So it's harmful to spare the rod. So a lot of times we just, oh, well, they just do whatever and they'll catch on whenever. No. But there's a saying that used to be said amongst our friend group when we were all friends. Is like, if you see me drown, and save me. If you see me drown, and save me. And you have to be receptive to that. It's kind of like the whole tough love notion. Like, when I think about when your parents used to say, like, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you. A lot of them lied. But... and they did. You know what I'm saying? But if within the proper context, like, and I'm not talking about like physical harm, even though that's many times when it was referenced, like any parent that has to chastise their child or bring them back to the standard, like, nobody wants to do that. Correct them back to the standard, corrective nobody wants to do that. It's no different than for those who serve in the armed forces and you receive corrective training, like your NCO or your OIC. Believe me, they got better things to do with their time than to serve as a disciplinary. Except for some of them enjoy that power trip though. Some of them do. That's a whole nother conversation. But for those of them who genuinely just want to serve as a mentor, who wants to serve as a good leader, and who wants to cultivate and develop your skills, it's like, okay, like, the standard and you falling short, and I hate to do this to you, but I gotta remind you in a loving and a tactful manner. And that only equates to if someone actually cares, right? If love actually exists. Because then there can be other reasons for correction, like power or ego or things of that nature. And it will come off that way as well. But when it comes to love though, it does require correction. And
So shout out to Nanny.
And yeah, definitely for setting that foundation. And shout out to my homie for letting me know that the other day.
Yeah.
But back to the whole proposal thing. She was the only one that actually said like, "Oh, I knew."
Mm-hmm.
So that was a little anticlimactic. Like, even if, I mean, she didn't even have excitement. She just had this level of confidence. Like, I already knew.
Yeah.
Which was alright, but it was whack because I was looking forward to her excitement or whatever. But
right.
Yeah. So basically, leading up to the proposal, all right. So I told you this story 1,000 times, so I had to break down this story to her afterwards as well. So, and I'm gonna actually show you guys the actual painting. But so after I decided that I was going to propose to her, I actually told my mom. They were like, "Oh, let's start looking for a ring." After I was like, "I'm gonna propose to you," they were like, "Let's start looking for a ring." And I was like, "Nah, I already got the ring in mind." And they was like, "Okay, let me see it." And I was like, "Well, here's my plan. I'm gonna buy her a ring that's not a real ring." And it was like, "Okay, why?" And I was like, "Because I don't want it to be anything shallow about this transaction, about this experience." And they was like, okay, I get it. I was like, I want it to be about the reason why it's happening. And that's because I believe that God is telling me to do it. I believe because it's based in love. I believe because it's based in purpose. And I will buy her the real ring when we get married, like before we get married, to put on her ring finger at the altar or whatever. And so they was like, "All right, cool, great idea." Literally, my mom comes to me like later on that night. She was like, "Yo, you sure you don't want to just get her the real ring off rip?" And I was like, "No,
I'm a real
Mom."
person. She knew. Shout out to Judy. She knew.
I was like, "No, Mom, no." Because honestly, the feeling of it made me. I didn't like the feeling. I wanted the feeling not to be about the pressure of anything. I wanted to be about the genuineness and the authenticity of me following what I believe that God put on my heart to do. And that was to propose to you, to make you my wife. So I got the ring, and me and my cousin, he's passed away now, which I love him to death. Me and my cousin Hezekiah, we actually talked about it so freaking much, going over lines for my what's it called, my what's that thing called when you go up my vows, like going over my lines for my vows. And we were just in the room cracking up at all kind of stuff. Just, we're super silly. Like, if anyone knows me, like, I'm very silly, but there was like another me, and he was like, another me. And there's multiple of us that are super silly. But he was the one that was with me.
Super silly, yeah.
Yeah, he was
with us during that time.
Yeah. And we were just dying laughing at all, just making so many jokes. And from there, I remember just letting different people know, like my different homies know and different friends know, and them just being excited. Now, mind you, this was when me deciding to propose was only about maybe a month out, if not 45 days max, somewhere around there out from when I actually proposed. If even that, I don't even know if it was even that long, honestly. It was anywhere between 20 days to 45 days. It was
probably
very close window.
Probably 45.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But either way, it was a very close window when it was on my impression to propose, and then the date that I believe that God told me to propose. So I believe that God put it on my heart to propose on Christmas, December 25th. And I remember ordering the ring, and I was like, "All right, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to invite you over at my grandma's house during Christmas, and then invite your fam over," because they said that they wasn't going to do anything on Christmas. So I was like, "All right, well, I'm going to tell her, well, maybe all y'all can just come over for Christmas, since your fam's not doing nothing for Christmas, and the rest of your fam's not flying in or whatever. You're not going back to New York for Christmas. It's just you, your mom and your sister." And then so I was like, "All right, cool." And then I proposed to you at my grandmother's house, right? And it was special to me Christmas because Christmas is my
Your
favorite time of
favorite
year.
holiday,
Yeah,
yeah.
my favorite holiday, my favorite time of year altogether. Okay, soon this fall comes, I don't know what it is. It's something special. It reminds me of when we used to go right back to school. You know, it's like new memories, new moments, new experiences. It was like the end of the chapter was the summer. The new chapter comes in the fall. You know, it's just I still feel that way.
Yeah.
But so I remember getting that together, and the ring said it would be there by the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the week of the 25th, I remember it saying it would no longer be there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't coming until, I believe it said January 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, well, I'll just propose to her after Christmas. It's fine. I'll just propose to her in the new year. And I got this impression, and God was like, if you wait, it'll be too late.
Mm.
I'm like, but I mean, it's just a couple of days. It's just like a week. You know, I just proposed to her, if you wait, it'll be too late. I was like, okay, so what I'm going to do? The ring not coming. And I was like, then I started panicking. I was thinking just as a friend, and I was like, well, even if I don't propose to her, because I still haven't made up my mind that I was going to propose to you on Christmas, because I was like, I was going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was like, but if I don't propose to her on Christmas, well, I ain't got her a gift. And we friends, and I know that she got me a gift, and she gonna think I'm a terrible friend, inviting her to the family crib and all of that. And she done got me a gift. We in ministry at this point, we've been friends. We've done so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been in E-group over a year. We've been we started our nonprofit. So we're well into our friendship, right? And I'm like, dang, I don't think I'm a terrible friend. And I was like, okay. Because the gift I was going to get you was the ring.
Yeah.
You know, that was the Christmas gift as well. So
Right.
a little 2-for-1 special, you know. But it wasn't coming. So what I did was I hit up a good friend of ours, and
Tania Tucker.
Tania, yes, shout out to you. She's an amazing painter. Like,
she is.
her quality is.
Look her up on Facebook. I can't think of the
on
name.
Facebook, yes.
TaniaTucker. I mean, her work is phenomenal.
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. Like she can paint whatever you want and make it come to life.
Yeah.
There's been multiple
Murals.
paintings. We have multiple paintings in our home that literally has, you know, that she painted.
Yeah.
And I've literally both of us have given her different concepts.
Yeah.
And she's just make it come
And she's
to
gotten
life.
better. Like, these are 6-7 years old.
Yeah,
Like, so she a fool now. She's a fool now. Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
So either way, leading up to the proposal, I was like, yo, okay, well, I reached out to her and I was like, hey, this is what I would like. And I told her the concept of what I wanted for the painting. And then so it's got this pretty huge painting. It's pretty big. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get her this for Christmas. And then I'll just still propose to her with this.
Mm-hmm.
So the night before, I went to your mom's house. I don't know where you were. I think, where were you? I don't know where you were.
Maybe on a trip.
Yeah, somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she was a flight attendant
During that time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Were you already a flight attendant?
Or was I?
No.
I was in train.
Train. I don't know what it was, but she was somewhere.
Yeah.
And I went to her mom's house, and you know, basically told her mom that I was going to propose to her because I just felt like, you know, that was the respectful thing to do. So I went to her mom's house. It was her mom and her then boyfriend there, and we sat on the couch, and I was like, well, I just want to let you know that tomorrow I'm going to propose to Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking at me crazy. She was looking at me crazy. Now, mind you, she was looking at me crazy because she lived this thing out with us, right?
Yeah.
So she served with us. She's fed us, the ministry, other friends that come over. Like, we've hung out around her with her. Like, so she clearly seen that we were friends.
Right.
So she was just confused.
Right.
And she was just looking at me kind of crazy. And she was just like, I thought y'all were just friends.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we are. And she was like, so what makes you think she's going to say yes? And I was like, well, I don't know that she's going to say yes, but that's the thing. Whether she says yes or no, it's going to be an honest answer, and it's not going to be influenced by any interactions, like intimate interactions that we've had.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever her answer is going to be an honest answer.
Yeah.
And she's still sitting there looking confused. Her friend sitting next to her, he's like, that's so dope. You know what I mean? And then she's like, okay, well, I mean, let me see the ring. And he's like, you can't see the ring. But the funny
But
thing,
even in that's so good because, and this is not to say that like people are this shallow, right? But for some, the determination of whether you're good enough for my daughter could be based upon the price point associated with that ring and not the actual commitment of the person and the integrity of the person and the preparation of the person for marriage.
yeah, or even the that's really good, or even just the price tag that comes with the individual altogether.
Yeah, like you can't afford my daughter.
Yeah, kind of thing. Now, fellas, I'm not saying that to say that you need to jump in a scenario where that you can't afford. That's not what I'm saying. But what we are saying is that, not making sure that you're making a decision, or a decision based upon the actual authenticity of what's being carried out, and not the shallowness of it.
Yeah.
But but even what you mentioned in that, like, that's how I felt around doing how I did it,
right.
Because I didn't want that stigma. I didn't want that feeling. Right. And that's the feeling that I was getting when I first originally started looking for a ring. And then I was just like, I don't like this feeling, because it felt like to me that in that moment started to become more about the ring, than the actual proposal and the actual meaning behind it. So that's why I toned it down for myself personally, so that I didn't miss out on the experience of what it was either. Right. And what I could add and what I could live in that moment with you. Because I could easily reflect on that moment completely different than your experience of it. And I had to take responsibility for making sure that I was in alignment in that moment as well, and not just trying to perform in that moment, which a lot of times us men, we can get caught up in the performance of things, and then we lose the experience of the moment because we're just looking to perform for our woman or for the lady or for whoever. So I asked her, and the very next day was the day of the proposal. But I want to ask you, which we already know. Go ahead.
Didn't you ask my dad?
No. So basically, I did let your dad know, though. That is a good point, because I often forget that because it was on the phone.
Right.
And then that moment with your mom was very a big moment.
Yeah.
But so I reached out to her dad. So at the time, her and her dad wasn't seeing eye to eye, but I didn't feel comfortable not reaching out to her dad. So I actually did reach out to her dad
via Facebook, I think. Right.
I can't remember, but I did reach out to him to let him know that I was going to propose. So it wasn't necessarily a do you mind or anything like that, because they wasn't in close proximity in each other's life. I wasn't really asking for permission. I was just more so paying my respects to him as her father. Like, hey, I'm looking to propose to your daughter,
And that's so good for other men who may be looking to propose to women, who may be in that situation, kind of just as a courtesy. And for me, it just like elevated my respect for you as a friend. Obviously, once we had that conversation, I was like, wow, that's really dope. Like,
yeah, because honestly, she, for her, it wasn't a requirement for me to reach out to him specifically because of the space that they were in at that time. But for me, I just wanted to make sure that I was being honoring and respectful, regardless of where they were. Your father still lived and he still exists, and there was a way for me to get in contact with him. So it wasn't me asking permission, but it was me paying my respects, by letting them know. For sure. Which so
amazing of you, for sure.
Yeah. And fellas, you play your role. You don't need permission from your woman to be the man. You don't need permission from anybody to be the man. You don't need permission from anybody to be respectful, to be honoring, to be intentional, to be thoughtful. You don't need that permission. Because one thing that is a saying that always stuck with me that one of our pastors said is, you don't need permission where God's already given you his promise.
That's good.
And in the same context, you don't need God's permission where he's giving you, where he's already given you his promise. So So yeah, I did reach out to your dad. Now, y'all, God work in mysterious ways because I wanted it to be a complete surprise. In like 3 weeks prior to. Now this moment right here is for everybody who feel like, I don't know if I could have done that because I would have been in straight shock, and you might have gotten a no because it was just so random and out of the ordinary.
Baby.
But but y'all be lying because I mean, yeah, in certain circumstances y'all would have probably said no. But the truth of the matter is, if y'all had a great man in y'all life as a friend, you know, and that checked all the boxes, like even if you were in shock and might not been able to just excitingly say yes, y'all not saying no. So I be seeing y'all in the comments like, I don't know if I can do that because, girl. Okay, go ahead.
Well, maybe they wouldn't.
You said yes to Tyrone. No. I'm just playing. I'm not playing, but I'm playing.
You're crazy. Maybe they wouldn't have if they hadn't received a word from God. And that's what made all the difference for me. So remember when I told you God told me that I could not leave because I had unfinished business? That was a major key. And so this is still so funny to me, y'all. So one day I had tried to do my hair, right? I tried to crochet some like red curly hair, and I looked a hot mess. And we just had that. We both goofy, both silly. And so I FaceTimed him and I said, look at this. Like, look at this mess on top of my head. And we just both busted out laughing. And I want to say this was maybe a month before Christmas, right? A month before Christmas. And so we just talking, and I'm at my mom's house, like in the living room, in the dining room, and I'll never forget, right? And so, and you're in your room, and
no, you were in the bathroom, downstairs in the bathroom.
No, I was at the dining room table. I vividly remember this moment. And
but you had your phone propped up. You was in the bathroom.
I wasn't in the bathroom. I was on at the dining, I was in the dining room table. I know exactly where I was sitting.
But you were in the mirror though. You were in the mirror.
Maybe the first part of it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Maybe the first part of it. Because I vividly remember this, okay? And his mom came and was talking to him, and she didn't know that I was on FaceTime because at one point both of our cameras were down. And when she came in and she was talking to you, I just put my phone down, you know, kind of just like, well, like obviously his mom is talking to him, you know, just a respect factor. And then she was planning to go to Detroit. And she was saying how she wanted to go to Detroit. She was like, I wanted to be in Detroit on Christmas, but that's when you're proposing to Jazz, y'all. And I froze. And I know, like, for many of you, when you experience something, you go like flight, fright, or freeze. I freeze.
Like fright, freeze.
Even here, like I freeze, y'all. Like if he comes downstairs and I can't hear him, I said I'd be dead. Like it just, I freeze. And so in that moment, I froze. And
no, my spidey senses would tingle and I would come get him.
Yeah, you would.
No, I would.
I know you would. But I froze and I was just like, does he know that I heard this? And I'm like, do I say something? Do I not say something? Do you play it off? And so I just played it off.
Let me tell y'all how cool she is, y'all. Let me tell y'all how cool she is. Let me tell y'all. She's so cool, right? Like, she's so cool that literally, I mean, we so cool, okay? That when we got back on the phone, I knew that she heard, and she knew that she heard, and she probably knew that I knew that she heard. And we just kept going on about our conversation like nothing ever happened.
Literally, that's all I knew to do, y'all.
Like, literally, like nothing ever happened. But like, y'all, I wish I could really explain the kind of friendship that we had and that our circle of friends had, that we were so authentically human with each other that there was literally no other side of any of us that we wasn't already showing. So it was the fact that we were even able to just go back into that, you know, and just like,
yeah. And really it was shout out to God, because he knew that I needed to hear that. Like, y'all, when I say, look at me, when I say he knew that I needed to hear that, God knew that I needed to hear that, because immediately, like I said, God, thank you for the preparation. And immediately when I heard that, I made the correlation of, okay, this is the unfinished business that you were referencing, y'all, because I immediately went, why me? Like when he talked about the proximity of friends that we had,
Yeah.
you know, like that was my first question was like, why me?
Yeah.
Why now? I just graduated. You know what I'm saying? Like what you like what? I just graduated. It was why me? Why now? How? You know, like because there was no, are we attractive people? Yes, but there was no level of sexual attraction. You know what I'm saying? So it was, I just had more questions than answers.
Here's the thing too, y'all. It wasn't any level of active sexual attraction.
What do you mean?
Cause saying no level of sexual attraction, the first thing that people think in their mind, I already know. Like I always,
you're saying
is thinking
active,
like, thinking
okay.
like, oh, they wasn't even. I couldn't be with nobody that I wasn't attracted to. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
I
that's,
get what you. I mean, obviously he's beautiful, but as we said again, like in the previous episodes, we both were used to having friends of the opposite sex. You know, and so everybody's attractive in some regard. It's just that like that you literally
it was doormat in both
it was
of our
dormant
lives.
in both of our lives.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but like I said, God knew that I needed to hear that to prepare me, y'all, because had that day just came, I would have been a deer in headlights. And I still get that feeling because I would have been a deer in headlights. I would have been froze. I would have froze. Like, oh, you playing? You know, like, no, you for real. Like why? Like how? Like just, and I would have said yes. So when you reference all the women that were like, oh, I never could, I would have said yes only because of the word that God spoke to me. However, I would have had more questions for you, but God allowed for me to take those questions to him. And prior to, and so it kind of like eased and prepared my heart to receive it. Because although I would have said yes, I still would have been fighting it because I wouldn't have had understanding.
And that's really good because, you know, for everyone out there, God's always going to, God's never going to blindside you.
Yeah.
God, he said, I will not allow my people to be ignorant, you know, so that means that whatever that is necessary, he'll make a way for it to get to us.
Yeah.
You know, so when you worry about, well, would I be prepared? Would I be too caught off guard? Things of that nature. If it is from God, you will be prepared for it.
And a part of me still didn't believe it, y'all. You know what I'm saying? If I'm keeping it a buck, like, although I heard it, I was just like, okay, I heard it, but no. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, I heard it, but I was like, man, nah, like, but no. Until it became a but yes, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still funny to this day because I literally, that's the only thing that made it okay was God, was him telling me that I had, was that I had unfinished business and me making that correlation. That is where my comfort came from. And as a courtesy, he cushioned it with just giving me time to prepare. But again, y'all, like how I did not have, the way my walk is set up, we're not given much time for obedience.
Yeah.
You know, so when I had to make that decision not to go to Chicago, I had about 45 days. When I had the decision to, okay, Jasmine, like, are you going to be obedient in this endeavor? I had about 30 days to come to an understanding and like wrestle with it as much as I was going to wrestle with it before I had to just completely submit to it.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's so good. So the following day is a day that's more fuzzy for her. And that's the following day of me talking to her mom. And that was December 24th. So the craziest thing in the world is I got this painting because the ring wasn't supposed to come until the next year. But the ring ended up coming on the 24th.
Wow.
So I had the painting and the ring.
Yeah.
And it was only God, because now I didn't just have one gift, I had two gifts for her. Right? Which made it so amazing. Yeah. So amazing.
You want to get the painting?
So yeah, I'm going to get the painting.
Yeah.
So I proposed to her. I didn't propose to her. So the very next day they come over, her sister, her mom, to my grandmother's house. My family's all over there. They know what's going to happen. I hired this photographer. And I'm like, yo, we're going to take some family pictures. So we all hanging out, we eating, we all chilling, right? I can sense her nervousness, right? I can sense her nervousness.
I was locked in on Mills like,
exactly. My niece, she just playing with my niece like, and she ain't focused on nothing and nobody. Like, she's just like in her mind. Yeah. Like, she's just in her head. It's clear to see that she's in her head. Yeah. So we So we all eat, we kicking it or whatever. And then it's like, all right, y'all, let's go outside for a family picture. Everybody goes outside. Everyone goes outside.
I'm still sitting there.
This is Jazz sitting on the couch. I walked back in. I said, yo, you coming? Oh, yeah. So we come outside. We take a picture, and I'm gonna find the family pictures that we took as well. But even in the family pictures that we took, you can tell you still in your head like she just, you know what I'm saying? But we all stand there, and it's like we're all crowded around, and
you told me you were gonna give me my Christmas gift in front of your family, and I
told
was
her
like,
I was gonna give her my Christmas, in front of my family.
And he caught me off guard because it was in this big old like wrapping, like the painting was in this big old like plastic bag, and so not plastic but like paper bag, and I'm like,
it was in paper wrapping.
This? Yeah, it was in paper wrapping. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's the thing though, is that remember she was nervous because of the ring, but when she got the painting,
I was like, whew. Right.
It threw her off.
It did.
So she was inquisitive of what this thing was.
Yeah.
Because she was thinking about the ring originally, like the proposal originally.
Yeah.
So she got that. She got it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, yo, open it up.
Yeah.
She was like, all right. So she opened it up.
And it's like, turn around, let me see. And so
I was like, show everybody. So first she read it. And she was like, and he was like, turn it around so we can see. So she turned it around, and it said on there, it had a picture of me and her, kind of like me holding her. And it's funny because in that picture, that has never happened until that moment. So like how I had her where I was holding her in the picture, like in the painting, I never held her like that.
We never held. It was always side hugs.
Until
that day.
Until that day after I had proposed.
Yeah.
So it showed the picture of it, and it said, the best thing I love about you is the Jesus in you.
Yeah.
And when she showed it and they read it, they were like, oh, and she's showing them. And then she turns around and I'm down on one knee and everybody goes crazy. And, and then I proposed to her.
Yeah.
How much of that moment is blurry for you?
None of it. I remember it vividly.
Really? You remember your feeling? You remember standing there seeing all? Because from your perspective, you got to see it differently from my perspective.
Because first off, when you handed me the painting and you were like, I'm going to give you your gift in front of my family. And I was like, okay. And so I open it. And then when I'm looking at it, I'm like, the painting caught me off guard too. Because first is like the two images of two people. And obviously I was like, okay, this is you and this is me. And then when I read it, I'm like, okay. So I'm still trying to catch up. It's like, I know what's happening. You ever know when you know what's happening, but you're still trying to catch up to it? That was me. And so I'm looking at it and, everybody's so excited and they're like, let me see. So I turn around. Of course, I'm smiling with it. And then when I turn around, like he's on one knee. And so I thank God for the preparation, because all I could do was laugh, y'all. You ever been so nervous that you just laugh? Like all I could do was laugh and smile. Yeah. And I was like, okay, God, like this where we at? We here. And it's so funny because like when I tell you, none of my friends had an inclination, like none of my friends or none of my family, so much so that like immediately after I posted it, one of my friends texted me. She said, girl, you almost made me wreck. Like I guess she was driving and she seen it. And Maddie was like, girl, you almost made me wreck. And I was like, girl, I believe it.
Yo,
yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you remember a feeling in that moment? Or was it just...
I was just catching up to the moment.
Yeah.
Even after, like weeks after, I was still catching up to it. Like I said, thank God for, preparing me for it. But I was still catching up to it for sure.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a part. I had 30 days to prepare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, like I was cool with Chicago, but you bringing in a whole dynamic that wasn't even on my radar. You bringing in a whole nother person. You bringing in just so many different factors.
Yeah, keep talking.
That your girl just was simply not prepared for, so had I been one of those girls that was like, okay, like I want to be a wife, like I want to be you know, I want to have this fairy tale wedding, you know, and had like the color scheme and the dress and, you know, envisioned this man, you know, like, because of course people like to talk about when they have a type. Well, as again, if you listen to the previous messages or podcast messages, you've heard me say that like I wasn't choosing healthy. And so for those of you that have a list, I think at some point you have to realize that my list don't matter and my selection of healthy does, right? And so we laugh all the time because this man has got more hair than me, okay? Done chopped it off about 2-3 times. Me and all my friends just like, give me them follicles, Lord, you know, but I was used to a fresh cut. So for a man with dreads, I was just like, do what? You know? And so it just what I was used to, he defied all of that, you know? And so even just to how he dressed, he was very urban, and, you know, I was very
classy, sophisticated.
I don't do that. You know, proper, you know? And so there was just a lot of dynamics that I had to adjust to. And so yeah, it was very much like whoa, you know, that if I had to describe the feeling, it was whoa. But again, the only thing, y'all, the only thing that made me in full honesty say yes was God. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it, because he had to tilt my heart towards that, and he did that in preparation, and it was easy for me to say yes to that because I had already said no to myself to Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, so it was just a continuation of what I was already on, because if at any moment I chose myself, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
So every time I had to choose God.
Yeah.
Every time I had to choose God. And today, obviously we're still choosing God. I'm still choosing God, but
yeah. And it's challenging because, like, imagine us not being in tuned with God throughout our journey.
Yeah.
Our journey would have looked completely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for anyone out there that might be challenged by their relationship with God, is like, I don't know how to build it. The closeness of your relationship with God is based on your pursuit of the character of God.
Yes, and not religion, y'all.
The pursuit of the character of God, not the character of your church, not the character of your religion, but the character of God.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why Jesus exists, to give us a great example of character.
Yes.
All right. Here's the painting.
Yes. So this is what, and then it says the perfect helper, referencing Genesis 2:18. So this was the painting that he got me, y'all. So I was looking like, huh? Like,
It says, what I love best about you is the Jesus in you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But this is what it was, and this is what she opened, and it was just awesome. So this is like the throwback. Like, she used to wear this bun all the time, like a bun in her hair all the time, and I loved that bun, okay? I married that bun. I
haven't worn that bun in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe later. Yeah.
She doesn't like it because she used to wear it all the time, so she's kind of over it. But
just because you said that, I'll get it back.
Leading up to it, did you actually think about what it took or what it looked like to become a wife?
No.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't think about what it became a husband.
Your husband either. No, and that's why we.
But I did view it like I didn't have the details, but I felt like the foundation of it is what we were already walking in.
I'll say this. I guess I knew the overall gender role of it, but I did not understand the responsibility behind it.
Yeah, I can agree that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. But my perspective of it was that we were going to be doing what we were already doing.
Yeah.
We were just adding the intimacy and the foreverness
behind it.
But
there was so much more that we couldn't account for.
So much more details, especially in between, to be able, like, us doing it as friends and us doing it as in marriage.
There's so many dynamics that change everything. Like, I mean, we'll get into that later, but no, it's just like I knew, like I said, the basic gender role behind it, but the actual responsibility of it,
What do you mean the gender role?
like the cooking, the cleaning, like that aspect of it.
When we first got married,
I wasn't around a lot though because I was a flight attendant.
yeah, but I don't know about the gender roles. I don't know. I
No,
don't think
I mean,
that.
but you
I
were,
don't know
but you,
about that.
yeah. What are you trying to say?
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't like,
Because
like,
you're,
you wasn't that when I asked you, like, did you think about being a wife at that moment? You started mentioning, you said, like, you knew, like, the gender roles, but, like, you didn't even, like, we wasn't on no gender role timing. What were you doing?
no,
What were you doing as a
obviously,
woman that I wasn't?
obviously collectively, like we don't adhere to gender roles because like you do that, inclusive of me. But what I'm saying, when you talk about the preparation of a wife, I'm saying I didn't have any. All that I knew was just like the stereotypical gender role,
Okay, I understand what you mean.
that basic functionality of a wife.
Okay.
But I did bring some clarity, bring some context, because Jesus,
Mm-hmm.
he's he ready to fight me. But like, what you mean? What you mean? Like gender roles? But
No, I mean, I know, I was just
no, but
kind of felt like it was.
you're very clean. Like I absolutely love that, and no one cap. Um,
You heard that?
no, yes, I did hear that. But yes, yes.
No, that's cool. That's cool. I didn't think about anything as far as being a husband either.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, except for exactly what I said. Like I knew what, like the statement that we said when we got engaged is that
We got work to do.
we have
And
work
I think
to
that's
do.
what we leaned.
We
in.
have work to
We
do.
didn't even focus on becoming. We were just focused on what we were already doing.
Yeah. We
and
really.
that was
Yeah.
you have to become in order
You have
do.
to become.
You have to become.
Because it won't be the same. The dynamics won't stay the same in trying to make
the
it stay the
do
same.
will do this. The do will create division if you don't become.
Yeah, for sure. You
Yeah.
have to.
You have
become.
to become.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to become. So that's pretty. That's pretty. Honestly, the story is really dope. Like, it's really crazy how it happened.
And then shout out to our mentors because actually they were the first ones to like have a celebratory dinner for us. And like Lori actually cooked. Like it was in their home and she cooked for us.
so
and
great. So
Matt and Lori, we
great.
love y'all so much. Y'all gonna meet them in a couple more episodes, but they're just amazing. And we love y'all. We appreciate y'all more than y'all know. Like we're so grateful for y'all. But
actually that's great because that you mentioned them, because you guys are going to meet them. So as far as preparation goes, as far as premarital counseling, they did our premarital counseling, but even more so, they were already originally my mentors when we were just friends. And then, after they met Jazz, they became her mentors as well. But we love them so much. They have taken us in like their own kids / little brother, little sister, / mentees.
Yeah.
And it's just been such a blessing, such a blessed experience.
Yeah.
Just to be able to be loved on and poured into by people who went before us. And the crazy thing, you all, they literally had the friend to fiance story before us.
Yeah.
So they actually went from being friends to being engaged as well.
Yeah.
So we'll have them share their story on an up and coming episode as well. So you guys will meet them, Matt and Lori Ferguson. They're absolutely amazing.
Yes, they are.
And can't wait for you guys to hear from them. But the beautiful thing is that just from our relationship of our mentors and us, like, what we have is special, but it's not unique.
It's not unique.
It's not unique. Unique is basically saying one of a kind, or it's even described as really rare. But honestly, the truth is that God's love and God's purpose for us is not rare.
That's good.
It's not rare. It may be rarely spoken about.
Oh, that's so good.
But it's not rare. Yeah. It's not rare, but it is highly special.
Yeah.
Highly special, super special.
Yeah.
So we hope this episode empowers you guys. We just wanted to kind of share our story on this one. And we hope that you picked up some gems and some wisdom throughout this proposal. And we're going to dive more into it. And if you are thinking about taking this approach of friend to fiance, remember, it's not about making it to the fiance part. It's not about that. It's about marrying the character of God, making sure that you create that marriage relationship between you and God. and then everything else will be added to you.
Mm-hmm.
She was added to me. I was added to her
Mm-hmm.
because first we seeked it says seek first the kingdom of God. This is scripture. It says seek first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness, and everything will be added to you.
Yeah.
Hold on. You don't have to go search because it is not sold separately.
Mm-hmm.
What? I don't have to go search for a relationship? Nope, because it's not sold separately.
Mm-hmm.
What? I don't have to go searching for love, peace, joy? Nope, because it's not sold separately. It is not a la carte. It is all inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
It's all inclusive.
That's so good.
It's all inclusive. He says it's just that you got to do this before you can do that.
Yeah.
You have to do this before you can do that. If you can't stand, you can't walk.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't stand, you can't run.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. That's so good. And I believe I shared with you that, like, I really had the revelation of truly what that meant. Like, we hear it all the time and people pacify it, but God says, you know, all else will be added unto you. If you are about his works, he will be about yours. All you have to do is tend to the thing that he told you to do, and everything that you desire, as long as it's in alignment with what he desires for you, you will receive.
100%.
You will receive. And so many of us are trying to do things within our own works, within our own might. And God is like, I ain't ask you for none of that. Like, I'll give you everything you want if you just focus on this one thing.
And that's aligning your character with his.
Yeah.
Because that cleans our heart, and that makes us repellent to the things that aren't meant for us and attractive to the things that are meant for us.
And it's the ultimate reflection of marriage. Like, as you said before, you know, your first union is with God. Your first covenant is with God. And so if you practice that there, one thing that I can honestly say as of today and where we are, like me fixating my focus on you, me fixating my focus on us and the harmony of us and the unity of us, everything has changed.
Yeah.
Everything has changed.
Yeah.
And it's like God added so much, maybe things that were already there, but he added like
So much color.
so much grace.
Yeah.
So much grace. There is an abundance of grace over. It's just like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Over
saying?
everything. Over
Like,
everything.
literally. And I'm like, wow, like, it's so profound. If you just focus on what he put in front of you, all else will be added.
Yeah. And it's such a truth that, you know, for anybody that's out there that may feel like Jesus refers to, God literally refers to the church in the same way that he refers to marriage. He says his relationship with the church, and not a building, with the people, with his people, right? Because people make up his church, right? The building is the building. The culture that's in a building is just the culture that's in a building, you know, but his church are the people, not the building, not just the people in the building, but the people who love him, right? And who follow and who seek him, right? And he says that husbands, you are to love your wife as I love the church. You know, love your wife as I love the church. You know, and it says, wives, you are to submit to your husband as you submit to me. You know, and everyone like, oh, I don't want submit, we word. But here's the thing. I'm just going to be completely honest. I'm going to be completely honest with everyone right now. If you are caught up on the word submit, you are caught up in the wrong community. If you are caught up on the word submit, you are caught up in the wrong community. Because if you don't have clarity of what is meant by submission, that means that you're either getting the wrong definition from the community that you're around, or you're not getting the definition at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The real meaning about it at all.
Yeah.
Why would God request something derogatory?
Right. Right.
Why would God request something enslaving? Right? It's not about that at all. If you look up the word submit, it means agreeable. Be agreeable with your husband as you are to me. And if you struggle being agreeable to your husband, then you must struggle being agreeable to me.
And I was, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah. And we'll get into
so
that.
Shout out to where we are today.
For sure. But however, let me say this too, for the husbands that says, when God says, love your wives as I love the church. We can't love our wife as God loves the church if we don't know how God loves us. So husbands, if you're not intentional about learning God's character and God's love, you can't love your wife effectively regardless of what she struggles with or succeeds in.
Yeah.
No matter how macho, no matter how bravo, intelligent, wise, witty you feel like you are,
Yeah.
I can promise you that woman's going to show you that you do not have the keys alone to unlock her heart. So we want to share this with you all. And for everyone that's battling with your relationship with God because of past, like a church hurt or anything like that, I just want to say this one thing really quick. And it's a statement from one of the most beautiful songs that I've heard of recently. And it says, it's not a building you want to fill. It's my heart. This empty space is what you wanted all along. It's not a building you want to fill. It's my heart. It's not a building that God's interested in filling. He's not interested. It's not about the building. Yeah. It's about the heart of the people that might enter the building. Yeah. It's about the heart of the people that will never enter the building. Yeah. It's about the heart of the people that will watch online. It's about the heart. It's about your heart. It is what he wants to fill, your heart. Never mind the religion, never mind culture, never mind. It is your heart. Your heart. Because God does miracles with empty things. God does miracles with empty things.
Yeah. That's amazing. And then I don't know, like if you have a friend to fiance story, shoot us a DM. We want to hear about it.
Yeah.
We want to hear about it.
Please send us a message, shoot us a DM. We want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, we do.
We love you all, and we're here for you. And everyone that's watching this that has subscribed, and please make sure you hit the bell too, because I know a lot of you don't get the notifications when we do release new episodes. So please make sure you do that. Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the Patreon. Yeah. There's exclusive episodes in there. There's other gems in there. Yeah. You can get in there, get in a group chat with us. Come join the group chat, friend. Yeah. Come join the group chat. Yeah. Friend,
what's wrong?
All right. We love you guys.
Yes.
I love you, beautiful.
I love you, handsome.
We love y'all.
We love y'all
very, very much.
Peace.
Here we go. We Gucci. Yeah. All right, brother.
Oh, wow. James, hold it up.
Look at my whole family out here.
What I love best about you is the GBD.
That is so nice.
That is beautiful.
You are everything I didn't even know. Yeah.